It's the Trash Player League. Let's get it.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to FLCN. We are presenting to you the Trash Player League. Once again, week 9 is in the books. I guess we're moving on to week 10, and it's not looking good for some teams out there, myself included. And this week was just a wild week in the fantasy football circles, to say the least. There has been a lot of unexpected developments that has happened this week. And we're just going to go right on and get into them right after I introduce my co-host, Rickey. How you doing?
As you can see, today I'm on the left because shit didn't go right for me this week at all.
Hey, Shawn, how you doing?
Let's just say that I've had better, not just better days, but better weeks. You know what I'm saying? Spoiler alert, this is probably the biggest disparity between projected points and points scored that I've ever seen, period. But I guess we're going to get into it.
Yeah, we are going to get into it. So right now you got us 3 L's, no W, and we about to rock this out. So here we go. We're going to get into this post-game matchup, and as always, we're going to do it with the 3 and out. So let's get into this 3 and out right now. All right. Right now, what you have on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, is the results of week 9. We start off with I Choose Violence losing to Corey's championship team. Your player got hurt, being defeated by We Not From 750. Team Lancelot losing to Indie Animals, Raw Dog Supreme defeating Big Trust, Lucky Lombardi. Oh, yes, there was a change in the team name this week, and it wasn't a result of a bet. Could you believe that? He defeats Reese's Buttercups, and I Love Cam Newton takes a L to FTW. All right. So, with that being said, I'm going to kick things off, and we're going to start things right here with Lucky Lombardi versus Reese's Buttercups. Lucky Lombardi has changed his team name in a very passive-aggressive fashion, and he is sporting a team score of 117.94 to 88.84. This was the battle of the lucky teams, as you can see here. And of course, Lucky Lombardi has come out on top. So now it is official. We do know who is the luckiest team in the Trash Player League. Although this matchup here doesn't seem like it came much down to luck, because he was always projected to win this matchup. But in the fashion that he did, I don't think so. He got 20 points from New England's defense. This is by far the highest point total that anyone has gotten this season from their defense. And he got it from New England, who went up against Carolina. So that was a good bet to start them here. Another big score for him was Justin Herbert, who went up against Philadelphia. So that was pretty obvious to expect some good fantasy score from Justin Herbert this week. He gives him 35.64. And from there, it's pretty much a bunch of subpar performances for the rest of his team. No one else meets their projections here. His kicker did, but all the major players, no one else meets their projections. But it was enough to give him the W, because on the flip side, my third point being is that this is yet again, Patrick Mahomes does not come through for Reese's Buttercups, and he only gets a score of 11.94. As you can see here, Patrick Mahomes had 166 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown. That game against Green Bay turned out to be ugly. I'm pretty sure that when the NFL was making this matchup in the beginning of the season, they said KC and Green Bay, this is going to be a highlight fest. They'll be talking about this game for weeks to come. And lo and behold, nothing like that happened. So that's really all I got for this one. Everything else here just seems to be fairly straightforward. So, fellas, you have any takeaways from this matchup?
All I will say is the tell of this entire week is quarterback play. The biggest difference in here is Herbert got 35. Pat Mahomes put up 10, and you're going to see a lot of that going across everybody's game. If your quarterback didn't do shit for you this week, you're just going to be in a world of hurt.
That is fair.
Yeah. And just one takeaway here, or actually a couple things. This is also the week of the unknowns. There have been a lot of unknown people just vulturing touchdowns. I can't even tell you the wide receiver's name that took all the touchdowns for the Dallas Cowboys, but I can tell you this: he got 2 touchdowns off of 3 catches, and I've never seen him before, and you're probably never going to see him again after this week. So, you have unknown guys snatching up touchdowns, and then you have the entire NFL scoring under what they normally would or what was projected. And this is the result of it. You get a bunch of big name guys that did not produce. This is not the only matchup that you're going to see this situation with. So,
yes, you are correct. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the bench and see if there was anything that could have changed Reese's fate. And absolutely not. As you can see, her best players were on bye this week. She did get 11 points from Callaway here, and Devin Singletary somehow gave her 12, but who would have expected that from him? I do not fault her for starting the running backs that she did start. They have been fair performers for her so far this season, and I'm definitely never going with Devin Singletary. So it is what it is. All right. So moving on, which one of you fellas would like to go next?
Did you want to go, Shawn?
Sure, man. Throw me out there. Let me see what we got here. You know what? I'm not gonna jump into Rickey. Let's talk about what's that team's name?
Raw Dog and
Big Trust. Yeah, let me get big Trust, Raw Dog Supreme. Let's talk about this game real quick. All right. Remember that time? Remember that time we said something about players underperforming? Let's just jump. This is disgusting, but let's talk about the score first. The score is 109.02 for Raw Dog Supreme versus Big Trust with 99.02. Exactly a 10-point difference between these two teams. You can see here, Big Trust was forced to play. Man, I don't even know if I want to say forced, dog. You could play anybody but Taysom Hill, but he was forced to play Taysom Hill this week, who gave him a 1.72 versus a Tyrod Taylor, who on his first game back has put up 3.4 points, which was, I'll be honest with you, man. I'll be honest with you. If I had Tyrod Taylor and I knew I was going up against Taysom Hill this week, I would have been licking my chops. I would have been salivating at the mouth. And look at here. This shit is the piss poor performance of the week for quarterbacks. I don't even know what to say, dog. Like you got to be mad at yourself if you're Tobias started Taysom Hill and getting 1 point whatever the fuck you just got. Like that shit got to be eating your soul, dog. Like Tobias, I like you, but you make a lot of weird decisions, man, at quarterback. But I digress. That was my first point. Is you're fortunate that the other quarterback got 3.4. This shit should have been uglier than it was. Point 2, bye week killer. You got McCole Hardman as your wide receiver 1 here. I don't even call him that. I'm not even going to say that. I'm just going to say he's wide receiver 2, but having McCole Hardman in your lineup versus Jalen Waddle and Christian Kirk, big difference, 5 points from Hardman. You can't even be mad at 5 points from Hardman. This is what he does. Okay. And then for my point 3, what you have here is 0.5 from the kicker, Mason Crosby. The man's been missing field goals and extra points all fucking year. He's been missing them all year. I don't care how many points the team Green Bay might score. You're getting penalized for missed kicks in this league, so you cannot have Mason Crosby on your team. With that said, versus Graham Gano, 11 points. I mean, really, everything else we're offsetting performances. Besides, you have the kicker, and then you have the wide receiver disparity. So this just seems to be a situation where bye weeks have ruined both teams. But I mean, damn, really, I'm just gonna blame this. Like, you know what, Tobias, you deserve everything you got with this one. Starting Taysom Hill, you know what? You just deserve to lose this game. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. What do you guys got?
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. You said he had to start Taysom Hill. No, he didn't.
I said that very loosely, Mark.
He did not have to start Taysom Hill. He, in fact, had 4 different transactions with other quarterbacks, and somehow on that roulette wheel, he ended up with Taysom Hill as his final decision.
I said that very loosely, Mark. I said you could have picked anybody else in the NFL right now when you chose Taysom Hill.
And the craziest part about it is that I do believe on Thursday that it was officially announced that Trevor Siemian was indeed going to be the starter of New Orleans. I saw this news and I thought to myself, I should put this out there. And then I said, no, I'm not. I'm not going to put that out there. I was like, why would I do that? And I just left it. I left it alone. Big Trust defeated me earlier this season. So I was like, why the fuck would I help him? If he don't see the news, that's on him. And sure enough, I guess he didn't see the news. He runs with Taysom Hill. And it is what it is. I mean, 3 whole days passed and he still had Taysom Hill as his guy.
Look, my point is, even if Taysom Hill was starting, I wouldn't start him.
No.
But that's just me.
Look, I'll cut him some bell with the Taysom Hill thing. Taysom Hill came out the last, 2 games and played against Atlanta Falcons last season, and he put up really good points. He scored 2 touchdowns in one of them. I think he had about 20 points apiece in them. That's a safe bet. Now, missing the news, hey, man, if you miss the news, you miss the news. You can't catch everything. Sometimes you just get busy and you get lost in the sauce. But I thought it was a safe bet personally, especially when they started announcing Blake Bortles was going to be playing for Green Bay, because I think initially he had what's his name, Jordan Love as his quarterback. But once they announced it, Blake Bortles, they never really quite announced when they got him that he would be the backup. They made it seem as if he was going to be the starting quarterback. So I can see where the panic comes. Me personally, I would have played Taysom Hill. Maybe I gave Tobias the talk on the side saying, hey, I'd play Taysom Hill. Maybe he took that advice. We don't really need to get into that. Who knows what happened? But, he played Taysom Hill, and Taysom Hill didn't show out. It was a huge disappointment. But to be in all honesty, the man went into this week not thinking he was going to win anyway. So, he kind of shot blindly, and it is what it is.
All right. So I had to clear this up because this is like, I don't see how you miss the news, because if you have the player, it shows up next to their name that there's some new news. And on Friday at 2:56, it says right here, Saints coach Shawn Payton said Taysom Hill will also play behind Trevor Siemian in week 9 against the Falcons. So if he had Taysom, which he did, he had Taysom Hill in his lineup on Friday, that news would have been showing a little blue square on Yahoo, letting them know what was going on.
Hey, maybe his notifications was off. I don't got the answers, man. I don't got the answers. You know, sometimes when you add an app, it's like, do you want the notifications gone? You're like, no, I don't want this shit ringing in the middle of the night.
I'm just saying, it just means he hadn't even look. He didn't even look at his lineup. Like he would have seen
look at his lineup in the last.
He didn't even look at the lineup. Forget the notifications. He didn't even look at his lineup. That's you know what, Mark? That's a level of confidence that I hope I reach one day. You know what I'm saying? That's the level of arrogance that I hope I reach one day. I'm not there yet, though.
Yeah,
let's my lineup on a Tuesday and never look at that shit again. I hope so.
let's look at the bench and see if anything would have changed his fate. Wow.
Well, hot damn! Look at that.
Look at that. 2 receivers on his bench with 20-something points. Look, you went away from the Devonta Smith and I understand that he's disappointed you so many times in the past. And so I understand going away from the Devonta Smith but I'm not going away from the Devonta Smith for McCole Hardman. I know that's what I'm not doing.
To be fair, Mark, last week on the show, you did say, hey, man, it's about time to drop this man. He's not doing anything for you or your team. So,
but I would But if my option was him or McCole Hardman, I just biting the bullet and I'm keeping him.
I'm telling you right now that I would have never even had McCole Hardman on my team. Forget talking. I understand taking a chance on Devonta Smith as a rookie who you don't know what he's going to give you going into the season. You got a new offensive coordinator. You got a new starting quarterback. That whole situation, if you wanted to see what happened and you wanted to play him for 5 weeks, I understand that. Having McCole Hardman on your team for the entirety of a season, that I don't understand.
Maybe it was the matchup this week. You know, they were playing Green Bay. It looked like it was supposed to be a shootout. You know, Aaron Rodgers wasn't there, so you think maybe he gets a jet sweep and, like, you know, a little easy touchdown. Like, didn't he score a touchdown like the week before? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
You would have to tell me that either Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce was injured for me to even consider it. And last time I checked, everybody was healthy.
Right.
I'm just saying, I don't know what's going on here. But you know what? That's fine.
You know what? He had big trust. That's what he had. He had big trust.
Hey, look.
Rico Hardman and Tyreek Hill.
And then last, go ahead, Shawn. You was going to say?
Well, I mean, this is the problem. This is the problem. If you look at his receivers that he has outside of his main guys, and you have Devonta Smith, you have Mooney, which, mind you, I mean, you have Mooney and Smith. Out of all those three, I personally would have started Mooney over those other two guys. Mooney,
maybe Justin Fields have been pretty bad. And
no, it's not even that.
Justin Fields might have been bad, but he's the number one targeted person on that team since Justin Fields been a quarterback.
Mooney was listed as hurt, and he was possible.
Yeah, he was
probable to not play.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
That was going.
I mean, well, there you go. I mean, you just got a bad roster of backup wide receivers. He's rostering backup wide receivers as if he's never going to play them.
Well, here's the thing, because on the flip side of that, this is the level of luck that I would hope to achieve at any point in my life. Because Raw Dog Supreme leaves so many points on the bench here. He has 29 points from Carson Wentz. Nyheim Hines has 20, but like you have Taylor, so it is what it is. You don't like, so I'll X that out. But Elijah Moore has 27. And the main reason why I bring that up is because there was a great chance at the beginning of the week that you were not going to have DeAndre Hopkins. And then there was also a great chance that there was not a great chance, but you found out Tua was
hurt.
He was injured and questionable all week. So like in that preparation, one would have Carson Wentz lined up as the starter. Even though he played on Thursday, I would have him lined up as a starter because otherwise, if this guy turns out not to play, you end up doing exactly what you had to do, which was scrape the bottom of the barrel and scramble for a guy when that shouldn't have been the case because you had a guy already on your roster.
Well, forget about this. You're making it more complicated than it has to be, Mark. You got Tua versus Houston, and you got Carson Wentz versus the Jets. Me and you both talked about this. We were talking about the matchup possibilities, and we said that both are juicy matchups. But I said that I would definitely start Wentz. I'm pretty sure I said I would start Wentz against New Jersey rather than take the chance on with Tua versus Houston. I'm just saying. And then the fact that Tua was questionable already just makes it to where I'm like, fuck it. I'm just putting Carson Wentz in against the Jets. Like I don't understand.
See, that's not fair because the last couple of weeks since Tua's got back, he's been fucking questionable every week.
Yeah, he has been. But I want you to bring up Carson. Click on that box for Carson Wentz. I want you to look at what his stats have been all season.
But that's not fair either because I could just skip that and show you that Tua hasn't been bad.
He hasn't been bad.
25-34, and this was
25 has been. This was the game Carson Wentz floor.
He did actually injure himself. So
yeah, but now that we looked at that, look at Carson Wentz.
Yeah, but to be fair, if we're going to go back to the previous week, looking at numbers, the Jets just got through shutting down Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's better than Carson Wentz, if you ask me personally.
Okay, but
I also think the Colts have a better offensive
that's
system.
A fair explanation. But
I understand that. But I also feel like the Colts just have a better offense.
But moving past that and going into DeAndre Hopkins, we pretty much knew that this dude wasn't going to play this week. Like they were begging him to get off the field last week, and he kept forcing himself on the field. And so we knew that going into this week, more than likely they would, especially seeing what was going on, they was going to sit him down. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So why would you not have a lot, like at the very least, this is just how I would have played it. I would have had Elijah Moore in the lineup, and I would have had D-Hop in the flex so that if I had to, I could replace him with a Christian Kirk. But see that, and that way you don't lose nothing because Christian Kirk is the natural replacement for D-Hop. But now you lost those points from Elijah Moore. But I guess the argument there would be, what was Elijah Moore really doing those weeks before? And as we could see here, he wasn't doing much. So he had his breakout week this week, but he probably should have been your start. He probably should have been in your starting lineup anyway, knowing that you wasn't going to have him available on that Thursday match.
Yeah, I don't like. This is a situation I try to avoid. Jefferson, I don't know if I like Jefferson better than Moore, but this is just honestly, if you take a step back, it just looks like a situation to where
Jefferson wasn't on his team until
I know
until after D-Hop went out. Like he got Jefferson,
but I'm also I'm trying to explain this though. This is like I said, if you take a step back, it just looks like one of two things happened. Either he fell asleep at the wheel going into Thursday, not realizing he had players that are playing on Thursday, or it's a situation that I hate having to do, which is you got a couple of starters that you want to play, but they play on Thursday, and you're already having that limbo of whether or not you should start them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those Thursday game conundrums where he decided, you know what, I'm just not going to play the guys that are playing on Thursday.
But like I said, it didn't matter too much because he won anyway. With all those points on the bench, he won anyway. So
I'll just say this. With the Hopkins thing, we didn't really get the notice that he wasn't playing until pretty much the game started. So he could
No, we didn't get the notice, but I came into this week, like, let me put it like this. I had when you said, when you was like, yo, there's a lot going on in your team, and I was like, I got contingency plans going on. And that's because I already had it in my mind that Kyler Murray wasn't playing. And I also had it in my mind that if Kyler Murray is playing, D-Hop's not playing. And if Kyler Murray is playing on a bum ankle with no D-Hop, he's not starting for me. Like that's where I was at with it. Like
that's cool and all, but in all fairness, DeAndre Hopkins has been hobbled, hurt, shouldn't be playing, his legs broke, and he's gone out there and giving you 30 points. He does that shit on the norm. For whatever reason, Hopkins has that DNA where he does this. So for him missing a game like this, that's a first. This doesn't really, well, not a first, but this doesn't happen very often. So I can understand you going, let's see what happens. Because he'll go out there, his shoulder broke last week. He shouldn't be playing. And then the motherfucker gets you 30 points. He does this all the time. This is nothing new for DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm not shocked at that. As far as the Jefferson pick, I understand the picking for that. They were playing against the Tennessee Titans. Everybody's putting up points with everybody against the Tennessee Titans. Not this week, because, that's just how this week works. So I get the logic behind it.
What did you say to me about Antonio Gibson? Because D-Hop's issue is his hip. And if you need your hips as a wide receiver.
That's a very fair point. But again, there's a difference between Hopkins doing this for the last, 5-6 years, where he goes out there injured and don't give a fuck what quarterback he has, and he puts up this number. He does this. This is his history versus Antonio Gibson. This is like his second year in the league, and his points are already up and down. Unlike
Antonio
Hopkins,
Gibson,
I don't know why we're comparing Antonio Gibson to DeAndre Hopkins. Who does that?
Well, I'm just bringing up the point that you need your hips, and if your hips don't work, I'm not starting you.
I've seen this man need his hands, and he's done it. There's exceptions to every rule. Luke Hopkins is one of those exceptions. You could give him you could put me as quarterback in the NFL right now throwing. This motherfucker might get me 6 touchdowns because he's that damn good, and I can't throw 10 yards. So he's one of those type of people. So I get it, but like you said, it really don't matter at this point because this motherfucker made out with a W.
Yeah, exactly. So next up, we just going to move right along. And Rickey, you up next. Who you going with first here?
I'm going to go with I Love Cam Newton versus FTW. The score for this one is, honestly, it's not too bad. The game is kind of misleading, though. We got the score of 102.68 from I Love Cam Newton versus FTW's 126.16. The first thing I want to point out is auto draft is a blessing. This man's team is balanced very, very well. The only bad score he really has on his team is Brown from off of Tennessee. I don't know why. AJ Brown with 9.2. And honestly, that's not that bad because AJ Brown hasn't been that great this season. But when you look on the other side, the first mistake that just jumps out at you is why the hell is Jacoby Myers still in this man's lineup? 1.8? Really? That's what you're looking forward to? The man hasn't got a touchdown this year at all. I think he's probably had 2 18-point games, and it was against some miracle type teams. He got that shit in the most weirdest spots. Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Come on, bro.
They fed that man targets in those games, though.
And when has he seen them since then? It hasn't really been his floor is the 9 points, which is cool, but the ceiling isn't very promising. For the most part, it's still that 9 points. So I just couldn't keep him on my roster unless he's in the flex, in case of emergency, break glass, Jacoby Myers. But as we go down, I get the Zach Moss play that he has. They were going against Jacksonville, and you would think he would get some, trash time touchdowns.
He's usually good for a touchdown or two, man. I can't knock Zach Moss, man.
Like I said, I'm not mad at that. Logically, it makes sense. But the football guy said, Jacksonville, you're not winning this game. That was the strangest game I've ever seen. And I don't need to preach to you about this. You already know what happened because your quarterback was someone who I won't name. I'll just leave that alone because I'd cry a lot over that. And my last and final point is the bench tells the tale for this. I Love Cam Newton could have probably won if he would have just switched out some people. You had someone with a better ceiling and a better floor in the name of Tim Patrick. He got you about 18, 19 points. That alone, and possibly knowing if David Montgomery would have played for sure this game on Monday night, you could have put him in and he would have gave you just enough for you to steal this win. But I can't fault him for that because, David Montgomery didn't get the clearance until literally 30 minutes before the game when they say he's now off of IR and he's playing the game. What can you do for that, man? What can you do for that? And on the other side, as you can see, the bench still does very, very great for FTW. Ayuk, he came and showed up to play. Jalen Hurts as a backup quarterback, I don't know I don't know. That's a hard decision to make for quarterbacks from there. Jalen Hurts has been pretty consistent, and I'm pretty sure everyone expected Matt Stafford to do a lot better in this game, but they pretty much shit the bed. But it didn't matter. He still had enough to win.
Yeah, what I will say about the David Montgomery situation is, in one of my other leagues, I have what's his name? Khalif. Is it Khalif? I'm tripping. Herbert. Yeah. So I have him in one of my other leagues. So I was following it, and they announced by Wednesday that he was going to be coming off of the IR, and they announced that he was going to be playing. So at the very least, you knew that they absolutely had plans for him to play, at least on some type of a split situation. If you were like me and you heard that you still played your guy anyway, you realize, of course, everybody that was supposed to be coming back off injury and had a pitch count had absolutely no pitch count this week. So I understand if you don't play David Montgomery anyway, because at the most you would expect him to be in a 50-50 timeshare in this first game back, and that's not what it was. Obviously, Montgomery ran the entire game. So
I might have to get whatever app you got, because I literally got from where I usually get my information from. They sent it 20 minutes before the game saying he's off IR and playing.
Well, let me put it this way. It's the same thing. Like you heard that Travis Kelce was coming off of IR, and you heard that we're probably going to play him. They didn't remove him from IR until either late Saturday or early Sunday. They don't remove him. Yeah. So like he didn't. That's the way they kind of do it. They wait, even though they know they're going to do it. I think they have a window in which they have to. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So it was just one of those things. So I believe you when you said they didn't pull him off of it, but it was kind of already known that once he got off, they were going to play him. But like I said, you expect the timeshare. You're not even expecting 10 points that you got from him, and you're not expecting them to get that many carries. So it is what it is. But once again, that's something you should be following your guys and figuring out what the hell's going on. I mean, I feel like he started everybody that he was supposed to. I don't know what he could have done. I mean, I do agree with you with the Tim Patrick situation, though. Tim Patrick is the only deep threat on the Broncos, and he seems to be the only red zone target on the Broncos. So at the very least, you either get a big play from Tim Patrick every week, or you get a touchdown from Tim Patrick every week. He's pretty consistent with that. So,
yeah, the last thing for that David Montgomery thing, my biggest thing, because I was a victim of Herbert, and you guys will see that later. I figured with the bye week they had coming in week 10, they would just go ahead and go, you know what, fuck it, sit this week out, get an extra week, and we'll bring you back. But I guess that logic made no sense. It's Aggie. I should have known better. I should have fucking known better. But it is what it is.
All right.
Boy, they got to get rid of that man.
All right. So next up, I have it's on me. I have Shawn Williams and his Lancelot team versus Indy Animals.
Name change coming soon. I'm just going to let you know now.
Yeah. When Team Lancelot scores 73.46 to 108.62, a paltry 73.46, by the way. And in this matchup, point number one is that only two players on Team Lancelot scored above scored in the double digits here. Josh Jacobs he beats his projections by like 0.24, and then George Kittle also beats his projection. He comes back into the league and he shows out. And wouldn't that just be the case when you get one of your superstars back and your savior, the guy that's been carrying you across this league for so long, he finally popped a flat tire. He comes away with 7.56 points here. This was totally not expected. You look at Josh Allen going up against Jacksonville, you are licking your lips you are ready to go. You are like, yo, this is going to be a 45-point performance, baby. We about to get this money. And this dude comes away with 7.56. These are the type of situations that just make you sad and make you hate fantasy football at times. And the next point here that I have on this is that on the flip side of things, you have Keenan Allen, who shows up this week with 12 receptions and 104 yards. Keenan Allen has been very quiet.
That's the best performance of the season for him.
Yes, it is. He has been very quiet this season, but when he goes up against Team Lancelot, he gets 12 receptions and 104 yards. And meanwhile, Team Lancelot, who has Keenan Allen's counterpart, he gets 7.80 from Mike Williams. So this was a rough week for Team Lancelot, as we can see here. I guess that's really all I got to say here. I mean, Nick Chubb gives 30, but that's what you expect from Nick Chubb. You guys got anything that you want to see?
I personally find it hilarious that everyone got on Darius about dropping the Chicago defense, and he goes and picks up Baltimore of all people. Like, Baltimore's been in all these shootouts. Like, why would you go get them? I think some of these picks that all of us are making are just name related, because there's no sensible reason why you would pick up Baltimore. Every week they're in a shootout. Like, I don't get that well. But
every week they go to overtime, dog. You're losing extra points every time they go to overtime, dog. Like, it's the most ridiculous shit ever, dog. Having Baltimore's defense is the reason why Lamar Jackson has to play the way that he plays every single week.
The funniest thing, though, is this is the week that Chicago got a pick six and actually put up points for him. He wasn't too happy about that in the group chat. I don't know if you guys saw that. He was like, you people. That's all I said. He was like,
okay. Well, I got a couple things to say here real quick. So, I mean, I know you skipped over the Chase Edmonds being hurt thing. It happens. Guys get hurt in the middle of the game. I don't really give a fuck too much about that, but to be real, like, Mark, this is the second time. This is the second time that Kittle has put up points. It's all season. He's been hurt. He's doing all this shit. This is the highest point total he's got, and then everybody else should have been. It's like you're right. It's like I got 4 of these motherfuckers, and only 1 or 2 of them can go off at a week at a time, man. So yes, I'm very, 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 very disappointed in my fucking team. And for the Keenan Allen situation, I'll let you know this. What I have observed, which is really pissing me off, is I guess these fucking defensive coordinators are smart in the NFL. So you know what they figured out? I don't know if you guys noticed. There's a cheat code to beating the Chargers. It's called focus all your fucking energy on Mike Williams and let everybody else eat. Because apparently Keenan Allen isn't going to kill you for 3 touchdowns. And it's working. They lost this game. This is how it works, you know?
No, they won this game.
They did win this game, but I mean that's how they've been losing. Ever since they went on their streak.
Let's be very.
They started
clear.
losing a bunch of games. Those are the games that Mike Williams have been locked up.
Let's be very clear that they won this game only because the Eagles' defense may very well be the worst defense in it.
Oh yeah. They tried to lose. They tried to lose this game, but they couldn't.
The Eagles' defense, every quarterback that the Eagles' defense goes up against completes 80% of their passes. 80%. Like, that's a real stat. That is a very realistic stat that every quarterback they face this season has completed over 80% of their passes.
Well, Shawn, I'll give you this tad bit of information that they said on Red Zone. I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but they said Mike Williams and the Chargers have been hiding a injury with him. Something happened to his hip. Yeah, I thought it was his knee or his hip, but they did mention that. And I haven't seen very many reports about that, to be honest. So for them to be hiding that,
they only reported it one.
All that cover?
They only reported it for one game, and it was the first game that he ended up going for like 2 targets and 1 catch. I can't remember what game it was, but that was the only time they mentioned the injury. They mentioned it after the game was finished, and then it was like briefly mentioned that that's why he had the game that he had, and then he never mentioned the shit again. And every week it's been the same thing. So yes, but I do understand that he does have some type of injury that nobody's fucking talking about. But I mean, even with that, these weeks are pretty fucking rough. And there's not. I mean, what do you do at Mike Williams? I guarantee you, if I sat him this week, this man would have gave me 30.
All right, so let's look at the bench and see if anything would have changed their fates. Absolutely nothing would have changed the fate for one Lancelot because he got nothing from his bench. And on the other side, it looks like Team Indiana started all the right people except for when it comes to this defense. This may very well be a record for defenses to get a -2 3 weeks in a row from a defense. That's special. That's a unique type of thing. But hey, keep doing it because it seems like it's helping you win because you're getting W's while you're getting -2 from your defense. So keep rocking out, I guess.
On phone them's grave.
So who we got next? Shawn, I guess you got your player got hurt, right? Correct?
Yes, I do.
Oh, my players should have got hurt. It would have made more sense. Oh, my stomach hurts.
Stomach hurts? Oh man, dog. You know what, Ricky? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it here. We're gonna start up. We got your player got hurt with 63.78 versus Rodney. We not from 750. I'm actually gonna say his name properly, his team name properly this week because he actually got a dub. We not from 750 with 105.92 and I just had to save this stat because my point total was trash. I scored 61 points under my projections, and I still didn't get the lowest point total of the week. Thank you, Ricky. I really appreciate your presence here in this league. All right.
This is by far the lowest point total of the season, and I would be amazed if something were to happen where someone else gets an even lower point total.
Oh, no, I think you can wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a shoe-in right now, Mark. I think he's hit. Hey. This is what rock bottom looks like. There's only way to go is up. Don't even worry about it. All right. So
it'd be crazy if we shoot next week. It'd be crazy if we shoot next week.
You know what? At this point, I wouldn't even be surprised anymore. I'm tired of my team acting like this. All right. So all right, let's get into it. First things first, Joe Burrow versus Baker Mayfield. Why would this be the week? Why would this happen right now? Joe Burrow has been playing very well against the division. I don't care who he's been. Fuck it. Joe Burrow's been playing well against everybody. He's been putting up numbers against everybody for the most part. He hasn't been putting up 4. This is unprecedented. Like, this man was on a super hot streak, being sacked 5 times and having 2 interceptions and no touchdowns. Man, I don't even know what to tell you. Joe Mixon was doing work. It wasn't even because he couldn't get the run game going. I don't know what happened here. So Joe Burrow completely shits the bed. You have to start him. Not even a bad start. Okay, so you did what you were supposed to do when your player let you down. Okay,
look, before you even go on any further, I got to jump in. I can't even blame Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow can't throw the ball and catch it. Jamar Chase dropped. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Jamar Chase, his hands decided not to work.
I was trying not to bring up Jamar Chase. I just wanted to tell you that your fantasy players shit the bed. There's a certain particular person on this panel that had Jamar Chase, so I was trying to be a little sensitive to his situation there. But there you go, just throwing out Jamar Chase's name, saying he's been dropping balls like he was in the preseason and shit. But that's cool. We're gonna get to you, Mark. We're gonna get to you eventually. But yeah, shout out to Jamar Chase for fucking up your game here, there, Ricky. We got okay. Let's go down here a little bit further. Man, I don't even know if I should mention the Herbert situation because we kind of went over that. But I think more importantly, what you have here is the Amari Cooper situation here. Amari Cooper giving you 5 points versus Denver. Was Dak not playing? I feel like Dak was playing. So once again, and if anything, Amari Cooper is the best receiver on the team. He's the big play receiver on the team. Jarwin is out, right? So the two people I expected to eat in this game was Amari Cooper and Schultz. And Amari Cooper doesn't even get his normal amount. I mean, his targets are down. I'm not seeing touchdowns. They're not throwing to him in red zone. I don't know. But yeah, Amari Cooper, I expected more. He didn't give you anything. I get it. Denver has good cornerbacks, but 5 is not what I expected. So that kind of hurts if Amari Cooper is going to be your best receiver on your team to get 5 points from him. You look like you want to say something, Rickey.
That's another one. Unfortunately, it's the opposite of Joe Burrow. Dak Prescott was dog shit that game. He only did something in trash time when he threw 2 touchdowns to Ike Turner or Malik Turner. I don't know.
Nobody knows that dude's name. Does say
that guy
just gonna make up a name for him. Nobody had him on their team. Yeah, but it's a perfect example. Dak missed throws that he's never missed his entire career. I mean, by a lot too. He was just off. I don't know what happened. The football gods were just like, it's time for y'all to catch this L, and they stole his powers like he was in the movie Space Jam. So, but we're gonna go to my third point here, and this shit is the most disappointing shit in the world. If you really look at this, I mean, you got 3 players. It's more than I had, but you got 3 players that score in double digits. And not only do you get single digits from a quarterback, which really is the main reason why you lost, you get -2 from your defense. You know, couple that with Herbert, his situation. Look, it just seemed like this just wasn't the week, but really, if you get your typical Joe Burrow performance, you have a fighting chance, but you did not get that. And Amari Cooper did you no favors. The Buffalo, I mean, Emmanuel Sanders, I expected Buffalo to put up 40 points against Jacksonville. And so I understand you starting Emmanuel Sanders. He's kind of been like the Brandon Cooks of that team. Like he shows up, he somehow gets fucking touchdowns and points, and you get nothing. So I'm not the only person that suffered to that Buffalo Jacksonville game. I really am curious to see what's on the bench. Oh, let's take a look at the bench. Let's take a look at the bench and see if anything would have changed his fate. And absolutely, it would have. Like, hot damn,
the entire bench would have changed his fate.
Like, Rickey, Matt Ryan never plays good against the Saints. What's going on here?
Okay, first and foremost, that's a lie. For fantasy purposes, he plays very well. But Joe Burrow has got 2 touchdowns every game. That's been guaranteed. So that one is like, I went with Joe. Ironically, everybody that's on the bench are all the starters that I had last week. And for some reason, I listened to y'all, but you might want to switch that up. Never again. Never again. But the biggest thing I'm most disappointed about this bench is the tight end I believed in and played for 5 fucking straight weeks. I finally went away from. The motherfucker goes off. He goes off. I'm not even mad at it, but that one hurt. That one really, really hurt. The rest of it is like, what can you do? Who would have known Matt Ryan was going to put up 31? Who knew that?
Look, you can say that Matt Ryan usually plays good against them. What I'm saying is those DBs usually do. Playing a game in New Orleans, those DBs usually play well. The past couple of years, they play well against those receivers. They're down Calvin Ridley. Julio Jones is no longer there. Their number 1 receiver is Russell Gage, and they have Tajay Sharp. I don't care how good Cordero Patterson is. You did not expect 31 points worth of passing from Matt Ryan in this game. So I understand why you started Burrow. Like everything is understandable. Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton splitting the touches that they usually get is something that you kind of probably seen happening. Freiermuth, you just don't have any faith in what the hell the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do week to week. Ingram just got there. You know what I mean? They still have a healthy Alvin Kamara. You know what I'm saying? Bateman, you don't know what the hell's going to happen in that game. Look, you had these guys on the bench for a reason, and you had the starters in for a reason, and the NFL went topsy-turvy. But yeah, and of course you look on the other side, and literally I wouldn't even say he started all the right people. He started anybody that he could start. He didn't even have anybody to start. He just made a makeshift team this week, and they all just panned out for him, you know?
I won't lie. A lot of these people I probably would have started and kept them in just to be safe because they have safe floors. But I went full boom because I figured it would help my point total to come up on somebody's power ranking. Oh boy!
You're gonna blame my power rankings on you.
I'm not blaming your power rankings because the decision's mine. But that went into it. Even with Robbie Gould, I picked him up like a couple of seconds before that game, and I'm like, all right, they don't have the quarterback, they don't have the star wide receiver. Maybe this becomes a kicking game, and I can get a couple of extra points out of it to raise it. That shit didn't even come to fruition. Matt Prater actually showed up and got 2 more points. It was just one of those things like, yo.
Yeah, I really don't understand why you were expecting my team to do well against Arizona after what you saw the first game.
For a kicker, I thought he could get maybe 10, but hats off to Rodney. Rodney did what he needed to do.
Well, I'll say we scored exactly the same amount of points we scored on them the first game, 17.
I wouldn't know. I don't watch our games.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't watch our games neither. I understand. No offense. No offense taken.
None taken. I don't even watch Seahawk games. So yeah.
Yeah.
This shit is a sad episode, man. This shit is terrible. I don't feel good about this one, man.
All right. So last matchup here is I Choose Violence versus Corey's championship team. Corey's championship team, once again, this is the second time Corey's championship team had the highest point total of the week.
And you know what? It's interesting you said that because everything that I talked about when we went over the week before about what could happen in this game pretty much happened. And that was 133.94 versus 101.40. So first and foremost, I don't think you should choose violence anymore. You should get a bodyguard. This is like your third loss in a row. Shit's been rough. And it's not your fault. You went against Lamar Jackson, and with Darius's defense helping out Lamar Jackson, there's a reason why he keeps putting up these crazy numbers, which is 35. And what did Hollywood Brown get? Hollywood Brown put up another 20. That right there is just like a deadly combo, especially when you constantly keep having these shootouts. I expected Minnesota to do what they do, and that's pretty much be another team that has shootouts. And we talked about that before. Either Jefferson or Adam Thielen or possibly both would go off this game. Justin Jefferson, I won't say he went off, but he did what he normally does. And that was pretty much enough for them to put over. On your end, you just walked in here to like a real fucked up situation. You had all those Green Bay wide receivers last week. Aaron Rodgers decides that, he's going to fucking listen to what's that dude's name with the talk show? Joe Rogan about how to survive. I don't know if I can say it because YouTube or ban you or whatever.
But he should have listened to Joe Rogan on how to tell the truth or how to cover up a lie or something. I don't know. He should have got some another step of advice. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I think he was missing a few pieces.
Your best quarterback situation just went to shit. You couldn't do anything. You went and got Jordan Love. You had a lot of faith in the rookie, and I shake your hand for that because that was very courageous of you. I personally couldn't do it. Anybody that they just keep saying no, we're going to put you on the back burner and go pretty much give Aaron Rodgers the world to. I couldn't trust them to run my team.
Well,
granted, he did score more than Pat Mahomes, so you did something right.
He scored more than Taysom Hill.
He scored more than Pat Mahomes, Taysom Hill, Tyrod Taylor, like
Josh Allen. We can keep the list going here.
I mean, so you had something right, but it wasn't enough for the W, unfortunately. But the biggest reason of that is your boy Jamar Chase. He could have saved both of us if he would have caught like maybe 3 of those touchdowns. They were in his hand and they were out of his hand. He played hot potato with himself, and it cost us a lot. The Devontae Adams situation was unfortunate because he was connected to Jordan Love. Was it Devontae Adams who even got the touchdown? I don't even know.
No, it was Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard got the touchdown.
Well, I mean, what can you do? Then you had a running back situation. Robinson wasn't there, but to be fair, he was playing against Buffalo, so I would have expected much from him anyway. You played Carlos Hyde, which was the smart move to do. Anything can happen, but 6.3 is not going to do it, especially in PPR. In PPR, you need at least 15 from your running back for it to even be like, oh, okay, he did, serviceable. Let's take a look at your bench.
I mean, into his defense, Carlos Hyde had a good game last week.
Not with 6 points, not for fantasy.
I said the week prior.
I thought you meant this week.
No. The week prior, he had a good week. I mean, it looked like he could have at least caught a couple balls. Shit.
See, unfortunately, there wasn't too much you could really do. You got Adrian Peterson, but there was no telling what he was going to really do. They picked him up on such a short notice, so I don't blame you for not playing him. And you had, tight end Arnold? I don't think I would have played him over anybody. And to be honest, the people you could have replaced him with, it pretty much broke even, so he wasn't going to do anything. Now, ironically, if you switch over to the other side, let's scroll up some.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Myles Gaskin actually, wow. Ain't that
I wasn't going to mention it.
I
wasn't going to mention it.
15. And ironically, I love that you set up that thing earlier off camera when we were talking and you were like, there was a shotgun set up with a running back that the Chiefs used to do. That was a trick play. They would run it off and they would score a touchdown. Myles Gaskin actually got a touchdown from that exact same setup. I found out crazy and hilarious. But other than that, I don't think there was anything you could have done to really help you. I mean, Myles Gaskin would have probably helped. Who do you have on his bench to replace for running back? A.J. Dillon, maybe, I think?
Yeah.
Let's see.
He would have
did too much.
Yo, when A.J. Dillon, dog, I started Aaron Jones in another league, and of course, A.J. Dillon gets all the fucking points this week. You know what? I'm speaking about something else. But yeah, A.J. Dillon, it's a weird setup there with Green Bay because there's games where he goes out there and he gets 15 carries or he out-touches Aaron Jones. There's games where he out-touches Aaron Jones. I don't even understand how it happens or what their game planning is that causes that to happen. But random games like this, it happens and he ends up with 13 points.
I will say that I want one more thing to point out. The biggest thing, though, that did help him win this game and saved him tremendously is Christian McCaffrey came back. That hurt Shawn and helped him tremendously because if he would have had Boston Scott, which I'm pretty sure that's who he would have played, things would have probably looked a lot different. And
real quick, I wanted to mention that Christian McCaffrey situation. Once again, guys that were coming back off an injury that were supposed to be on a pitch count, which, I mean, let's be honest, I don't think anybody actually believed that Christian McCaffrey was going to be on a pitch count. Last time this happened, whether it was last season or whenever it was when he got hurt, and they said he was going to come back and be on a pitch count, they gave him 28 touches. So, I never believe it when they say Christian McCaffrey is going to be on a pitch count. He never has been, never will be. So, yes, no surprise, Christian McCaffrey comes back, and they force feed him the ball, and he gets a decent amount of points.
Yeah, well, yeah, man. My only point here is that, like, dog, I went after Jamar Chase for these type of situations because if I don't have a Kyler Murray or whatever, or if something was to happen to Devontae Adams, then I would have somebody else that could give me boom on my team to be able to fucking carry me to a victory. And he has literally been ass since trading for him. Like, he's been straight ass since trading for him. And it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what I did to offend you, fantasy football gods. I don't know.
He said all that shit about his preseason is what happened. That's what happened.
No,
He was
no.
listening.
And way before I even thought about trading for him, I recanted and I apologized. I was like, he must have fooled and trolled us all. But listen, it is
Maybe
what
he
it
didn't
is.
accept your apology.
No, it is what it is, dog. I just know what it is. Like,
Hey, Mark, can you bring up his stats real quick? His game log.
He said, "Bring up the game logs."
Isn't this the game he was supposed to get the
Yes.
30 from what you saw trending?
This is the game he should have got over 15, and he decides to put up 2 back-to-back shit games. He was like, "I'm gonna be shitty for 2 games in a row, instead of being good for 2 games in a row. I'm gonna be shitty for 2 games in a row. How about that?" And then guess what?
And then it ends up being a bye. So he just been useless.
Yes, he's been useless since I got him. Like,
and then he's got a bye week this week, Mark. Hey man.
Yeah.
When is that going to pay off for you?
I'm just saying, I'll trade you 3 wide receivers right now. If you don't want them, maybe you'll have some depth. It'll be better.
Man,
than
I'm not even going to lie.
Lazard.
I'm about to start calling Rickey up, man, for one of these fucking wide receivers, dog. Because this should get a little fucking crazy out here.
You don't even have to be all that. I'll give you him. You give me Najee Harris.
Nigga, please. Don't you smoke yourself retarded?
He said that shit so
Najee
slick
Harris.
too. Like, just been running the mill, just
give me
Najee Harris.
You want me to give you the best running back in fantasy?
I'm just saying, you know.
Hey, that man Najee Harris got a floor of 15 to 17 points and shit. Like, nah.
I'm just saying, I'm just trying to keep it simple for you, you know. But I mean, this is how it plays out. Like, this is how it plays out for me. I go up against the only person that beats his projections, and out of all the people I could have played this week and gotten a victory, I go up against the one person that beats his projections.
Yeah, I'll be real with you, man. It really is starting to seem like you need to consider putting Patterson in one of these wide receiver slots, but I don't know if you got the running backs to do that.
What would that?
You would have had him. You would have had him before that Jamal Chase trade. I'm just saying.
No, I wouldn't have. Because then what?
I would have Gaskin.
Gaskin would have gave you some points.
Yeah, I would.
Hey, Rickey, you said you were tracking this. Did you say you were tracking this shit?
Yeah,
like, I'm tracking.
I'm tracking.
I thought you said you would start tracking it. Maybe you should start.
And I'm tracking
it.
I'm tracking it, and I'm tracking the math. I would have still lost. Because AJ Dillon was only 2 points off. And then you take the point differential from what Gaskin's got to what Hyde would have, I guess, what Hyde would have got, or not even what Hyde would have got. So who am I taking out here? Like,
yeah, really, Jordan Love fucked you. It just this is what it is. Like,
this is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like that the trade was what it was. The math, like it just different things keep fucking me in different areas, and it's just like, all right, cool.
He was chasing that 30-point game, and that shit didn't come. That's what happened.
It's cool.
Maybe week 11. Maybe week 11.
Hey man, like maybe one day, maybe not. I'm pretty sure he'll give it to me when it doesn't even matter.
Hey, you know, I seen something that said you hate to see it, but better than that, you love to see it.
Hey, listen.
Hey, let me tell you.
Hey, listen. I'm only 1 game back from y'all, and my point total is still really high.
That's fine, dog. That's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Wins matter in this league, though. That point total don't mean shit.
The wins are starting to mean something now. The wins are starting to mean something now.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's desperation time and what it smells like. I'm not saying that for you, Mark. I'm saying that for all of us sitting at the bottom here. Like it's time to get active.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lucky Lombardi. I wish I had some of that. I need some of that luck right now. This motherfucker got.
Hey, what I tell you, I said you got the 2 luckiest people in the league playing, but for some reason I can't see anybody being luckier than him. And sure as shit.
Well,
7-2.
Yeah, you know. Well, shout out to Sharice for getting another fucking 17-point performance out of fucking Melvin Gordon.
Well, guys, that was the end of the week 9 post game analysis. Our 3 and out is over. So you know what that means. It's time now, excuse me, to go into our week 10 pregame analysis. And we're going to be posting our picks, who we think is going to win, who we think is going to lose. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and get into it. And here we go. All right. So right off the top, first up is I Choose Violence versus Lucky Lombardicus. And I'm just going to go ahead right now and pick Lucky Lombardicus.
Just go ahead and do it. How is it going to happen, Mark? We don't even know. I'm sure it'll be something special and magical.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Every way that I've lost so far has been special and magical. So I'm like, cool. Like that. Like Aaron Rodgers may have fucked me for the rest of the season in the wildest way because he lied about getting a vaccine. Like, who would expect that shit to happen? Like,
dude been walking around free, no mask, dapping people up on the sidelines and shit. Like, this dude straight up hadn't even been following no protocols. Like, did nobody say nothing to him? This shit is wild. I don't know what to
out
say.
There kissing babies, signing T-shirts and shit.
Hey man, that boy is wild for that one. And then he has the nerve to get offended because people are mad at him. That's funny shit.
But anyway, let's look at the matchup here. Lucky Lombardicus is doing that thing that he does where he just takes everybody out the lineup. So as you can see, everybody's out of his lineup here. So these point totals on his side do not matter at all. And on the opposite side, well, let's just face it. James Robinson, let's see. Is James Robinson even going to play this week? It says he missed last week. Don't know if he's going to play this week. They go up against a middling defense in the Colts. So Antonio Brown is still in a fucking walking boot.
Said that shit a little aggressively, but go ahead.
Dawson Knox is don't know if he'll be back this week or not. So meanwhile, I Choose Violence is a fucking walking injury ward, and Lucky Lombardicus has a solid team that's coming back. Tyler Lockett will have Russell Wilson back, so there's potential that he starts him. Baltimore's defense have been a sieve, and Mike Gesicki has been the number one player for the Miami Dolphins team, so got to keep going with him. Deebo Samuel has been a yardage machine, and the Rams have just been letting people do whatever the fuck they want lately. So got to roll with that too, right? And let's see. You got you got Dallas going up against Atlanta, New England going up against Cleveland. I would go with New England's defense here.
I would just start New England's defense every week, but that's just me.
Yeah. So
I would go with Dallas on this one because I'm pretty sure the defensive coordinator probably wants to shit on his old team that got rid of him, even though all those injuries weren't his fault. I know that's a storyline, but I think Quinn might want to, beat the shit out of them like everybody else.
He got something to prove. He got a chip on his shoulder. All right.
Well,
that's very possible.
He has something to prove after last week. Denver did whatever.
He said,
it don't matter who they would have played. He still got something to prove.
Who's giving up that many yards on the ground from Denver, and who's giving up that many points to Denver? I don't know, man. Yeah, their defense was bad last week.
I remember the last time the Cowboys went against Denver, though, they got their asses beat like this. It was like maybe Zeke's second year when he was dealing with that case he had. They went over out there to them, and they got their asses beat just like this. So it might just be a Denver thing. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't really watch them, but we'll see.
But yeah, man.
Well, I mean, Mark,
Look,
you got to be a little bit more optimistic than this because there's a lot of things going on his side. Scroll back down so we can look at his bench. Now, you mentioned the Tyler Lockett thing, and you were saying that Russell Wilson's coming back. But what happens if Odell actually goes with the Seahawks? That's going to take a lot, and I mean a lot, away from Tyler Lockett.
But he has to. I don't think he may not be eligible to play this week.
Why wouldn't he?
Because he has to.
It's to clear waivers.
He already cleared waivers today. He has to.
We're talking about after he gets picked up.
He has to clear medical.
Yeah, he has to do a physical. He has to do a physical and all that shit. But I mean, forget about that. If he goes there and he is able to play, then I mean, we've seen how Russ is. Russ has kind of got a one-track mind. He's not feeding two receivers at once. I know that.
Yeah,
so it's just another mouth that takes away from the opportunities of Tyler Lockett. What's up?
It's more than, and even if Odell goes there, it's not going to be the new guy. It's going to come down to DK or Tyler. So,
well,
that's what I thought about it until DK showed up.
Let's go to Miami.
Even with
Gesicki. Gesicki, you still don't have a Tua back, so you got Jacoby Brissett, targeting them. That's not promised.
I probably feel more comfortable with Jacoby Brissett than I do Tua.
Look, bro, I'm just trying to give you like some optimistic bullshit, but if you're gonna be a negative Nancy, then go ahead and just trade me Patterson. I can use him.
I'm being honest. I'm just being honest here, dog.
See, he's being a realistic Russell is what he's doing. Yeah,
well, it's fuck coach because he's the best player right now. So I'm picking you to win this.
Well, yeah,
until
okay.
Coach loses, fuck coach.
Okay, because I actually got my shit up. I'm gonna go ahead and do my pick. I'm gonna let you know ahead of time, though, Mark. I am picking coach. Look, man, this ain't. I'm leaving my feelings out of this, Mark. I'm leaving my feelings out of this, and I'm just going with who I think is gonna win. And I don't even think it's going to be close, Mark. I have the same concerns that you do. We're talking about Tyler Lockett. I don't know if you realize it. He has CeeDee Lamb already at wide receiver. Yeah. And then he'll have Deebo Samuel. He doesn't really.
That's the Herbert goes up against Minnesota. Like this shit.
He doesn't even need to play him. He could play him. If he plays him, he's going to be in the flex. Look, man, we know what Deebo Samuel does every week. He carries the fucking 49ers on his back. However he needs to do it. And you already know. Like I said, you already know what it is. He's going to put up numbers that are going to be ridiculous. And CeeDee Lamb, after last week's performance and going against the Atlanta Falcons, what do you think CeeDee Lamb is going to do to Atlanta Falcons? Look, man, I don't think you got a chance, Mark. That's just plain and simple. Austin Eckler versus Minnesota. Look, man, you don't have a chance, Mark. You might lose by 30.
I feel you. I'm probably.
Hey, man, Michael Gallup's back, right? Michael Gallup might get some of those targets taken away from CeeDee Lamb.
You can only hope. You can only hope.
Hey, man, fuck. Go ahead.
Well, here's the new. Oh, this is rivalry week, by the way. So, we do have some rivals going up against each other. Your player got hurt is going up against Charles, but Team Lancelot is going up against Reese's Buttercups.
She beats me every year in every single league, Mark. I'm. You know what? We'll talk about it when we get to my game.
Yeah. So let's get into your player got hurt versus I love Cam Newton. So, all right. They're saying 73% chance that I love Cam Newton is going to win this one. Let's look at why they have come to that conclusion. Cincinnati defense is on bye. That's the only team you have on bye. And well, let's look. Dak is going up against Atlanta. That's definitely going to be an issue. He still has Jacoby Myers in his lineup, so that's a plus for you.
No. See, because I hate Jacoby Myers, this is going to be when he gets his
more than
first touchdown.
That's how that goes. That's usually how that goes. Is that because you've been talking so much shit? Now this is
Dalvin Cook
show up. Dalvin
Cook might. I'm not worried about Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook might be in jail come the weekend. He's going through
That's what I'm saying.
issues.
That's what I'm saying. That's another thing that helps you out here, man.
Well, listen, if Deshaun Watson didn't end up in jail, Dalvin Cook ain't ended up in jail yet, unless there's video evidence that he did some shit.
Look, all I know was when you start using words like extortion, usually extortion gets proved because there's text messages involved.
Well, but that's against her, not him.
That's against her? Okay. Yeah. Never mind. I digress then. Dalvin Cook.
I can't agree with that because extortion got talked about with Deshaun Watson and he's still not playing. So,
well, he wasn't doing the extort.
Yeah, they were. And
yeah,
he's still not playing. So I don't know what this Dalvin Cook.
Their owner is also a fucking idiot. But that's, I mean, yeah. So I'm gonna let that one go. Man, Dalvin Cook has a chance, but still, in the off chance that Dalvin
Cook's gonna play this weekend.
In the off chance that he doesn't, I mean, I don't know. You might have a chance here.
In the off chance that he doesn't have David Montgomery this week. So,
but he does have.
He doesn't have nothing. That's his best shot right now. Is Zach Moss. We'll see how this waiver wire plays.
You don't like Williams.
You
don't like Darrell Williams for Kansas City.
No, I don't like any running back for Kansas City.
He's been doing okay.
I mean, 10 points is cool, but like, we'll see.
His last two games is 17 and 10, and he had a 23-point game of 1.2.
I guess I will play him over Zach Moss for sure.
Zach Moss isn't playing this week. Zach Moss is like on concussion protocol or something. Everybody's already talking about pick up Singleton. He might not be playing.
Look, I would say this: the last 3 full set of carries that Williams has got him 23.9, 17 points, and 10. I mean, it's not bad.
No, it's not.
I'll take that right now on my team.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so I mean, it still doesn't look great for you there, Ricky.
Hey, every week I'm supposed to play, it never looks good for me. It's something win one, lose one. We'll see what happens come Sunday.
We'll see. I just don't like the matchups you're facing. Darren Waller being quiet for as long as he's been quiet recently, and then you have him going against Kansas City. That shit just smells like a.
No, you know what? I'm sorry. Based on this alone, I'm going with I love Cam Newton. Cooper Kupp goes up against San Francisco. There we go.
It's a 30-point performance coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, like that's just a wrap. That 21 points is definitely an underbid right there with Cooper Kupp.
I'll take it.
San Francisco.
I'll take it. Every time you guys bet against me, it usually ends up me winning somehow. So I'll take it.
Hey man, good luck. Good luck. I really don't have a dog in this fight. It's Cooper Kupp.
Well, let me put it this way. This is what I'll go with. It's not going to be a blowout, but look at this. You got Jared Jeudy, right? I'm looking at the bench here. You got Jared Jeudy versus Philly. Okay, you got Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson versus Detroit. Okay, you also have Emmanuel Sanders versus the Jets. I mean, Matt Ryan versus Dallas. Freiermuth versus Detroit. You got some taste. You got some pretty great matchups here, man. Actually, you know what, man? You know what? I'm looking at this and replacing Cincinnati.
No.
Replacing Cincinnati on the bye. You know what? I'll be honest with you. This is what concerns me about I love Cam Newton. McNichols in his flex. I really don't like that. McNichols and Jacoby Myers, if those two guys are going to be in his lineup, we just mentioned Zach Moss. Dang, I don't know who he's filling these gaps with. Sony Michel? He has to pick somebody up off the waiver wire.
Yeah.
It's really going to depend on his waiver wire pickups. I'm not even doing this to be an asshole, man. I really am going to pick you, Ricky, because I don't know how he's going to – because he's going to start Myers. You already know he's going to. He's not going to take him out of his fucking lineup this week. And McNichols is going to stay there too. And then if Moss does not play, then that's he's done. If Moss doesn't play, I think he's going to lose this. I think he's going to lose this game.
My biggest concern is Detroit really hasn't rolled over to any team except for the Eagles. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about that with the Steelers. And it's looking like it's supposed to rain. That worries me. Are they in Detroit or are they playing?
No, they're playing. They're playing in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I'm picking up fucking Big Ben. Fuck Matt Ryan. It's gone. I'm definitely doing that.
I'm picking up Big Ben. Hey, look, all I'm saying is that when I looked at your matchups, I started noticing. I was like, I don't know, man. I actually like your matchups, man. They're just as good as the matchups on the other. I mean, he really what he needs to win though. He absolutely is going to need them 30 points from Cooper Kupp, and he's going to need that 40 from Dak. He's going to need both of those. He can't get 18 from Cooper Kupp and 24 from Dak if he wants to win this game. You can win this game without that. He can't. Not with Zach Moss, Jacoby Myers, and McNichols in his lineup. So
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
With that said, I got Charles winning this. I don't trust my team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Dak might put up 60. It's Atlanta. I don't know. Like the real rap. I'm not even gonna say after last week, they're gonna want to get the get back, you know what I'm saying? So but I picked Rickey. I picked Rickey.
Okay, you picked Rickey. You kind of convinced me. But 3 players going off at the same time is kind of difficult. I'm gonna stick with my choice here. Los Angeles got a point to prove, and they're going up against San Francisco. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep it there for now. Next up on the rivalry week is the brother-sister matchup, Lancelot versus Reese's Buttercup team. Lancelot is favored to win, who's going up against the Jets. Tyreek Hill's going up against Las Vegas. Mike Williams. Josh Jacobs going up against KC. That should be nice. Sutton going up against Philly. That will be nice. George Kittle, we'll see what that do. But I mean, usually nobody can stop George Kittle, so more than likely he's just going to get his points anyway. On the flip side, Patrick Mahomes, will this be his get back week?
I don't know if he has a get back week this season. That's just where I'm at with it. I'm not putting any faith in any of it.
She hasn't set her lineup yet because Terry McLaurin is still on her bench, and so is DK Metcalf. So she hasn't set her lineup yet. So I'm imagining that her lineup is going to be Terry McLaurin, DK, and Adam Thielen. That would be my imagining here. Yeah, because it's Sharice and you never beat her, I'm just going to go with Sharice.
Yeah. I'm looking at these matchups. I can't even. Can I trust Josh Allen to take care of business against the Jets? I don't know. Tyreek Hill versus the Raiders looks good on paper. Mike Williams, enough said. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll be happy if I get 10 points from him. Jacob seems to be the only consistent fucking player I have on my team. Davis versus Dallas, because it's such a great matchup and there's no Calvin Ridley and all that. And it's been a little bit of a struggle here, and it's probably going to be a high scoring game. Maybe I get 6 points from Mike Davis. I don't know, man. I really, Edmonds being doubtful and probably not going to play is really killing me here. Christian McCaffrey, the return of Christian McCaffrey coming back. It's kind of a dire situation. I'm in dire straits here, running back. I don't know what I'm going to do on a waiver wire, if I'm doing anything on a waiver wire, or what kind of trades I'm going to try to make. But hopefully I am not going into this game with Mike Davis. I don't even know why I'm breaking all this down. It doesn't matter. I'm picking Charisse. She always beats me every time we go head to head. In the league we're in right now together, I am 7-2. I am tied for first place, and Charisse beat me, and her team has only got 3 wins. So that's just what happens. So I'm betting on Reese's Buttercup team.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick her because she traded me Joe Burrow, and she's been super nice to me. So there's some bias. I'm not even gonna front.
She's been super nice.
I really think this is gonna boil down to you guys quarterbacks. If I'm being 100% honest, you guys both like had this love-hate relationship with the quarterbacks. You're like, hey, your team's only your quarterback at the beginning of the year, but your team's only been your quarterback at the beginning of the year. And now about that midway point, both your quarterbacks hasn't really been performing. So I think that's what it's going to come down to.
I'm going to bet you this. This is the only time that my quarterback hasn't really performed. I'll say it. Since the beginning of the season, 17, 20, 45, 23, 42, 33, 33, and then 7.
I only remember the Jaguars game. So, I got real bad memory. Like that little fish from Finding Nemo. So last game he shit the bed.
Like this is that's what made me so bad about yesterday. The man gave me 7 randomly.
Well, your biggest problem still is you have Mike Davis. I don't really trust your running backs. Again, this is going to be what's interesting about this is some of you guys' key players is in this rivalry game. She has Pat Mahomes, but you have Tyreek Hill. That can possibly outset itself. But most of the time, I trust Kelsey over Tyreek Hill anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's able to slip away from that. But then you got Jacobs, part of this, and they're playing against Vegas that day. So I don't know. Theoretically, he should go off, but didn't he get hurt last game? And what's his name came in for him? Kenyon Drake. So I'm not even sure if he's gonna play a full game or if Kenyon Drake's gonna take over.
No, he is. He left and he came back in. He came back in very shortly afterwards, and he finished the game out. Saying he got 13 carries, 76 yards, and then he ended up getting some receptions. Like he did have a scare, but he did come back. But he finished out because I think the scare happened in the second quarter, but he played out the rest of the game.
And then the biggest thing that worries me is that Carolina defense. Are they going to have time to actually rest, or are they going to be out there for 4 quarters because Sam Darnold can't get anything going? Like that's a scary one right there with your defense. Green Bay's defense, I will no longer question. Without Aaron Rodgers, they damn near won that game for them against the Chiefs. So that's going to be interesting, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, Carolina's defense has given me 2 bad games all season. They got a -4 versus Dallas and 2 points versus the Giants. But outside of that, it's been 8-9, 8-9, 11-7. They've been impervious even with Christian McCaffrey out and with Christian McCaffrey back. I feel like it's going to be enough. What's up?
Oh, that sounds good, but they're playing Arizona. And Arizona got it done without Kyler Murray. That's why I look at them like,
I do understand that, but I'm only mentioning these point totals because I want you to understand when they got 9 points against Minnesota, Minnesota put up 34. They got 12 points. Hold on. Actually, you know what? No, that's probably the only one where they give up a bunch of points and still got. But they're pretty good at getting turnovers. So that's the big thing. So even if I do get lit up by Arizona, I feel like the turnovers and the sacks will still get me there.
Like I said,
Kyler Murray playing, or is it going to be Colt McCoy?
But the whole thing is, how long are they going to stay on that field? After a while, with Sam Darnold, their biggest opponent is Sam Darnold. It's not even.
I do feel like Christian McCaffrey being back helps that.
Sam Darnold's going to miss a couple of weeks.
Oh, he's out?
Yeah, a shoulder injury.
Ooh.
Finally.
Okay. That I didn't know. Oh, wow. Your player got hurt. But
here we go.
We'll see how it goes then. That's really interesting. I didn't know that information. I didn't know that.
And real quick, I'm just going to end the discussion right here. Mark, shoulder bench. Scroll down. You see that?
Yeah, but we got buys coming up.
I'm saying I got Tampa Bay versus Washington. I'm not even going to be starting Carolina's defense.
Oh, we'll see.
So the reason why I have these two defenses is because every time Carolina goes up against a tough opponent, Tampa Bay has a lesser opponent. The only reason why I haven't dropped either of these defenses. So
we shall see.
Yeah, but I don't think it matters. She's gonna win anyway. So
Keep this short and simple. I got Raw Dog Supreme winning. I don't know what fucking voodoo he knows, but this motherfucker's on a rampage. Like, until he loses, I can't bet against him. I just got him winning. That's it.
that's it. He's like, I don't even know what it is. But this man's is he on a 5-game win streak right now?
Something like that.
I think it's 5 games. Yep. Raw Dog Supreme tops Big Trust for 5th straight win. Yeah. He's on a 5-game.
Yes, he's on a long. Yes, he is currently on the longest win streak in the league. Well, let's look at the bench here. Ooh, AJ Green still showing COVID. Aaron Rodgers. I'm not even sure if Aaron Rodgers is going to play. Still, yeah. Raw Dog Supreme. It's not a whole lot to go over here. Raw Dog Supreme team is just outright better. Up and down. It's just outright better. So it's who I would go with. Shawn?
Yeah, I mean, really here, I'm looking at it in we know for 750 has a bye week for Allen Robinson, so that's a wide receiver position gone, and then he also has a flex position that is empty. He's going to need, and when I look at his bench, I see Rob Gronkowski, who we don't even know if he's going to play, as the only viable option down here. I mean, unless you want to count Pollard or Devontae Parker. Well, Pollard for a flex or Devontae Parker for wide receiver. He really doesn't really have too many options here to really fill in. And the way that Raw Dog Supreme's been getting these performances out of Jalen Waddle and Michael Carter, he's been getting some crazy ass performances from people to keep him afloat. It literally is the Kyle Pitts show in Atlanta at this point. Outside of Patterson. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm looking at this in Baker Mayfield at quarterback versus New England. That shit is not going to be good. Nah, man. Nah, I don't see how Rodney can win this game. Yeah, I see Fournette and Zeke doing numbers, but outside of that, I really don't see how he's going to get points. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Raw Dog Supreme.
All right, that's 3 for Raw Dog Supreme. So you have a chance. We not from 750. You have a chance. Big Trust versus Corey's championship team. Now, I think this the second time they go up against each other? I'm not sure. But Big Trust, who does get Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin back, goes up against Washington. Now with the injuries going on, this is a good play, having both of them at the same time. Strange how things have changed. Injuries changed everything. So, and on the flip side, who would he play here? He does get Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick back. Kareem Hunt is still on IR. Lamar Jackson and Malcolm Brown going up against Miami.
Don't call that man Malcolm. You better call him by his fucking name, Hollywood.
You're right. I apologize. He earned it.
Hollywood. That man been Hollywood all year. All right.
All right. You know what? I'm going with Corey's championship team simply because Big Trust threw Devontae Smith into his lineup.
Oh man, that's funny, man. That's a good one. I'll be honest with you. I am 1,000% going to go with Big Trust. Looking at it, you got Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin versus Washington with no AB and possibly no Gronk. This shit has all the markings of a combined 100 points between these three players. It's going to be, if it's not, I'd say 80 to 100 is what they could probably put up between these three versus Washington's defense. Aaron Jones versus Seattle. With Aaron Rodgers not being there in them having their situation. I mean, I don't know, man. With the situation in Green Bay, Aaron Jones should get a lot of work. And the biggest reasons here, we got Mark Andrews versus Miami. Forget about Devontae Smith. James Conner, because of the injury to Chase Edmonds, James Conner is now a bell cow back. And I don't want to use my team, the Niners, as an example, because I do not think he will perform and put up the same numbers that he put up against us versus everybody else in the league. But if he's going to get 25 touches in a game, then he will do numbers. Maybe not 40 points like he did against Niners, but James Conner is probably good for 15 to 20 versus Carolina, just off of touchdowns. He's getting the goal line touches, he's getting the catches, and he's getting the carries.
I feel you.
I'm picking Big Trust just off of that. Anything that they do will offset anything that Devontae Smith doesn't do.
And that's fair. That is fair. Ricky, you seem like
for this one. Yeah, I was just looking over some things. I got Big Trust winning this, and it's simply because I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to show up this week. I don't think Miami has the offense to turn this into a Lamar Jackson needs to come back affair. So I'm pretty sure that he won't score as high as we think, and I don't think he's going to need to feed everybody, including Hollywood Brown and Andrew. So I think that's where this is going to end up falling off. I don't have any faith in them. Miami has a pretty good defense, but I don't think that's going to be the problem. I just think it's going to be a low-scoring affair, so it's going to probably be one of those games where Lamar Jackson does enough to win, but for fantasy purposes, he's not going to do enough to put his team over the top like he normally does.
Feel you?
Yeah, and also to me, Malcolm, Hollywood is going to have Howard on him. And I think that, but like you said, he's not even going to have to go to him. So he's not going to have to go to him, and he's going to have Howard on him. I really don't. Yeah, I don't see anything from him. I don't see anything from. I don't have no faith in the Eagles with Goddard there. I don't have faith in the DJ Moore situation right now, and Myles Gaskin. I think what he got last week is about the best that you're going to get out of him. So. That's what I think. It's just a lot of not good situations over here for Corey's championship team.
All right. So, that was last week. So I'm like, what the hell? Okay. And last up is Indianapolis versus FTW. And in this matchup here, no Nick Chubb. But got quite well. He loses Devontae Booker, who's been working out for him, but Alvin Kamara and Swift. Swift is going up against Pittsburgh, so that's bad. Excuse me. Yeah. I'm just going to go with FTW here. FTW's been pulling it off, so I'm just going to stick with it. No particular reason, just sticking with it. You guys?
I'm going to go with Darius on this one, for them. For whatever reason, I think Claypool is going to probably have the best game that he ever had because he's going to go to Detroit. And they hyper-target him for no damn reason. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the dude who takes him over the top. The Stafford thing against San Francisco, I have a feeling if Von Miller plays, they're going to run over Jimmy G so damn bad that Stafford's not going to do anything because the defense is going to probably be putting up all the points. I wouldn't be shocked if that happens. Von Miller and Aaron Donald is just something you don't want to deal with, and I think we get to see that this week. The rest of it's kind of iffy. DeAndre Swift, he's been doing good. If they get behind, he makes it up from just like, sure volume. Travis Kelce, that's hit or miss. Pittman, I don't know what to expect. And same thing with A.J. Brown. So I think Darius might be able to pull this one out. And there's still a chance Nick Chubb plays because he's actually vaccinated. He didn't lie about it. So 2, positive tests, and he could be back in the game. So I got Darius taking this one.
All right.
Man. Yeah, so I'm looking at these matchups. Just a cool stat here. Swift, as much as I like him, the thing that I don't like is this situation here. The Lions have failed to score. They've only scored more than 17 points twice this season. They scored 19 versus the Rams. They scored 33 versus the 49ers. They're going to go up against Pittsburgh. I don't see them scoring more than 17 again. If there's no touchdowns to be had, then you can't get them. So the Swift situation versus Pittsburgh is really the thing that jumps out to me, as long as I feel the same sentiments as you with the Rams game with Stafford versus the Niners. I feel like it's just going to be, they're going to get out to an early lead the way that Arizona did this past week, and that leads to ground game for Henderson and Sony Michel. And I mean, I can see Stafford still getting some points because it is Sean McVay. He's still going to throw the fucking ball, but I mean, it's going to be, like I said, I see, like we mentioned, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp gets his targets whether they're playing conservatively or not. But outside of Kupp, his connections to Kupp, I think they jump out to an early lead. I don't know if my team is capable of keeping up. So, but right around that 23 that the predictor for Stafford, I think that he's going to be right around there. But that's what I'm saying. Stafford not being able to score 40 and Swift not being able to get you those points right there. I don't have any faith in Marvin Jones. Those 3 situations right there is enough for me to pick against FTW. I mean, auto draft team might prove me wrong, like they've been doing all fucking season. But I mean, I got to go with what my eyes tell me here, what my football knowledge goes. So,
All right, cool. All right, so with that being said, that is the end of our pregame analysis. All picks are in. We will see how it plays out. But now is the fun part in which we get into these power rankings. Both of these gentlemen here have separate power rankings for the league, so we will see how they differ. But before we do that, let's just look at how the league, how Yahoo feels about the standings and power rankings. So we'll just go right back into the screen here. So here goes the standings. Here go the current standings for the league. The current standings has Lucky 1, FTW 2, Raw Dog 3, Big Trust 4, Indie Animals 5, Reese's 6, Lancelot 7, Corey 8, Your Player Got Hurt 9, I Choose Violence 10, Cam Newton 11, We Not From 750 coming in last. Now let's look at their power rankings. The power rankings has it as FTW being the best. I Love Cam Newton as 2. Wow, that's weird. And then Big Trust at 3, Lucky Lombardicus at 4, I Choose Violence at 5, Indie Animals at 6, Corey's Championship Team at 7, Lancelot at 8, Raw Dog Supreme at 9, Reese at 10, We Not From 750 at 11, and at the bottom, Your Player Got Hurt. So now let's bring up which one of you guys want to present their power rankings first?
Matter.
I'll go first. Yeah, mine is up today. Go ahead and pull that there, Mark.
Mm-hmm. No problem. All right. So there you go. Take it over. You do your thing, Doug.
All right. This week we have no change in the first place for week 9 power rankings. FTW team, aka Team Auto Draft, still doing what they're doing, putting up numbers and getting dubs. I think that's self-explanatory for as to why he's up there. He's averaging 142 points a game. So and he's getting W's. He's getting W's. All right. So he's there at number 1. Big Trust comes in at number 2, up 1 spot from last week. Lombardikus Prime is at 3. Excuse me.
I have to stop you here.
I need to change the name, okay?
But no, I have to stop you here. Lombardikus Prime won this week. Big Trust lost this week.
Yes.
And Lombardikus Prime scored more points than Big Trust did this week. How is it that Big Trust moved up in a loss and he scored less points?
Well, let me take a look here, because points versus projected does matter. So let me take a look here for week 9 then.
It might be a strength of schedule thing.
Strength of schedule is part of it, but let me make sure. What are you talking about? We're talking about Lombardikus, Lucky Lombardikus, and we're talking about Big Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's part of it. Strength of schedule is part of it. Lucky Lombardikus, his opponent put up 88 points. He beat up on another bad team, and Big Trust, although he did lose, he lost against Raw Dog Supreme, who put up 109, which is the 4th highest total for the week. I mean, it's just a situation to where his opponent playing these opponents that aren't putting up points keeps lowering his status here.
Nah. This is the first time where I'm looking at it. I'm like, nah, bro, that don't work.
Okay, well, give me a second here. I'll go straight to where they rank in all the categories then. Okay, Lombardikus Prime and Lombardikus and Big Trust. So strength of schedule, actually, they're the bottom 2 teams in strength of schedule. Actually, Big Trust is below him. Big Trust outscores his projections. Oh, there it is. Yep. Big Trust is the only person in the entire league that over the course of the season has outscored his projected points. So he is first in projected points versus projected. He is second in points for versus points against margin. He is 4th in the standings. And that is why, because Coach is 3rd in points for against margin, and he's 4th in points projected. The difference between the two in their score, their power ranking score, is 0.2. It's a very small margin.
Yeah. All right. If you say so.
If you want, that's fine. That's the best explanation I can give you.
If you say so.
That's it.
All right, continue, I guess, unless Rickey has anything to say.
No, but
okay.
All right, so I will go on. Raw Dog Supreme, same spot as last week. 4. Indie Animals, 5, same spot as last week. I Choose Violence goes up 1 spot. Reese's Buttercups goes up 1 spot. Corey's Championship goes up 3 spots. And the reason for these people's upward movements is literally just because Lancelot and your player got hurt, moved down 3 spots. We both went down pretty far, and that has boosted up a few people. not to mention that, Corey's championship team won. So, and Reese's Buttercup is still the benefactor of that tie. So her place in the standings is literally what's been carrying her, is her place in the standings and her margin of victory. Not margin of victory, but points for versus points against, and then also her scoring close to her projections. I love Cam Newton at 10, has not moved. We Not From 750 is up 1 from 12 to 11, and your player got hurt is because of the fall of going down 3. He is back down at 12.
Okay. All right. So those are the power rankings according to Shawn. Now let's do a comparison for Rickey's power rankings here. All righty. Rickey, take it away.
All right. So at top, as you see, we got Lucky Lombardi at number 1. Previously, the week before, he was at number 1, so he stayed the same. At number 2, we have Raw Dog Supreme. He's been on a crazy, crazy win tier, and the opponents he's facing's win percentage has been giving him extra points in the bonus area, which has raised him up to number 2. Previously, he was number 3. Him beating Tobias at Big Trust drops Tobias down to number 3, ironically. Coming in at number 4 for this week, we have Reese. She stayed the same. She was there from last week from my standings. Along with BK, he stayed the same. He didn't move. Darius stayed the same. And the biggest jump and fall off we have is Corey. Corey actually jumped up 4 spots. Reason being is me and Corey have a tie in point totals for my system. And because Corey beat me earlier in the year, he goes up 1 above me. I go 1 down below him. But next week that can change depending on who wins. Whatever game that they got. The bonus points will probably set you over. Coming in next, we got I Choose Violence, followed by I Love Cam Newton, followed by Lancelot, followed by We Not From 750. Any questions?
So the biggest question I have is, how is Reese's Buttercup team above BK FTW?
Well, this is how my point system works. You literally have to start from week 1, obviously. If you win, you get 5 points. If you tie, you get 2.5 points. After that, you go into strength of schedule. My strength of schedule system is 5 times whatever their win margin percentage is. So let's just say in week 2, you won your first game but lost your first. The equation becomes 50% times 50% times that 5, which would give you whatever the hell that is. I think it's like 100 right there. Then you add that plus the bonus. The bonus is that 100% times that 12, which would give you 12 points. So right there, you're already coming off of, what is that? I forgot what I just said it was. Let's just say 15 points or whatever. I can't do it off the top of my head. That adds up. So depending who you play each week can bring up. For example, I'm higher up in the ranks from yours because I beat Coach. When I beat Coach was on a win streak of something like 3-1, I think, at the time. So me beating him gave me a bigger bonus. This brings you up in. Winning matters. Depending when you beat somebody at the time of their win percentage will bring you up inside of this power rankings.
So basically, just real quick in a nutshell, then, Reese, even though she's got 4 losses and a tie, all of her wins must have been quote unquote quality wins for her to be living off of the bonuses, basically.
Yes,
because she lost this week and she lost this week and she didn't drop. But I take it that's because she played against the best team.
She played against the best team that gave her 1, plus she has a tie, so she has bonus points. She hasn't had a week where she hasn't really got any bonus points because of the tie. Playing against Reese is actually more beneficial to you than playing against Rodney. When you play against Rodney actually kind of fucks you because he has no wins, so he has a low percentage. I think you get like a 12% bonus to whatever it is. That doesn't help you out very much.
So it doesn't really matter if you blow out a bad team like you're supposed to. You still get penalized to some degree for playing Rodney, basically.
Blowing out a bad team is still a win. Like, why would you get penalized for that?
No. What I'm saying is because your win just means less. It just means less.
Yeah, it means less. It pretty much goes against.
So you could. That's what I'm saying is you have a high chance of dropping whenever you play Rodney because it weakens.
When you play Rodney, yes,
got it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But yeah, there you have it. That's my power standings, and that's it in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, there you have it. There goes the you don't have any rebuttal for his power rankings there, Shawn?
This is what I will say. The person that is at the top of your power rankings, I do not think they have as good a chance to win a championship as the team that I have at the top of my power rankings.
Who's at the top of your power rankings again? I really don't remember.
BK.
Why wouldn't he?
Well, coach is averaging 20 points a game less.
What does that mean? That can change in a heartbeat. Not to be.
Oh no, it can change in a heartbeat, and that's the thing. And if it does, BK will drop, and coach will end up going up. Coach doesn't even have to be the highest scoring team in the league, only because he has so many wins. So he can very well be at the top. Coach is probably never going to, on mine at this point, he's probably not going to drop below third.
My whole thing is winning really matters. The point spread doesn't matter because you could just have a bad game, kind of like how you had a bad game and I had a bad game this week. Josh Allen doesn't show up. He doesn't get hurt. That means nothing in the long run. You can have one bad game and shoot up. It doesn't really change much for me.
Oh, yeah. But even for me, if you have a bunch of good games and one bad game, the average is what it's going off of. Not, you would have to have one really horrible game for it to really affect you. It's about the average.
Not really, because it depends on who you beat and when you beat them.
No, I'm talking about for mine. I'm talking about for mine.
For mine, it makes a difference because Rodney, I believe the previous week before, he was at, what was this? I think he was at 25.1 point. And at the end of this week, he shot up to 42.7 points because he beat somebody that was better. So the power ranking, you can jump up depending who you beat. Mark, he's had a string of him losing. So he's dropped down. You've had a string of you losing against people that just aren't really doing anything. And then BK, for example, BK's been winning, but for some reason, his strength of schedule, he's always playing someone that's below 500. Then he'll play somebody that might be right there. Then he plays two more people that are below 500.
Yeah. So for me, for example, for me, Rodney, because he's already lost so much, even if he wins, he's going to need more than just one win to jump up. There's no win that he can get that is going to make him jump up unless he actually performs and puts up. If he puts up 160, then that helps. But outside of that, one win can't really jump him up.
Where I am with Rodney for my paper, this motherfucker gonna have to win the next 6 games for him to jump up anything. He's nowhere there. For you and let's just say for you and Mark, for you guys switching up, Mark is at 49.09. You're at 48.25. It's not that big of a difference. Charles is 51.44. Me and Corey are both at 52.97. So it's literally 3 or 4 points apart.
Yeah.
Now, where it comes in with Coach, if his coach has 95 points, the next closest person to him is Cedric at 85. Then Tobias has 82. Reese has 69. BK has 67. It's literally a couple of points away. The only difference now is when you start getting up to people like Coach and Cedric. Coach is what, 7-2? Cedric is 6-3.
Yeah.
What is Tobias at? Tobias, where's he at on my paper? Tobias is at 5-4. Those little points start making the difference. But if you're constantly losing in a row, you don't get those bonus points, so you start to dwindle down. But let's just say, who do you play next week? I don't even remember.
I am playing Sharice.
You're playing Sharice. If you were to beat her, the bonus, I think you can get another 12 points. That might shoot you straight up to 5 or 6 because we're so close. If you win another game in a row and coach was to lose, it can swing that quick. Well, it's swing that easily.
Yeah. See in mine, who you play isn't who you play. It week to week doesn't matter. Who you played over the course of the season matters. So for me, if I beat Sharice this week and mine, the only way I really go up is because of the standings, because I got a W, and then it really comes down to how many points I put up or how well I did, period. Because if we both play shitty and I still get the dub, you know what I mean, then chances are I don't move up too high in the standings because of my point total. So then I won't move up. I could stay still, probably won't move up too much, and there's still a chance that I could probably move up one spot, move down one spot, or stay the same. But if I blow her out, you know what I'm saying, because I had a good game and I put up 160, then that can move me a little bit more. So it's not even about, I mean, it doesn't matter where she sits. For me, it's just like, hey, did you play good? And did your opponent play good? You know what I mean? Like if you both played shitty and you lucked up and got a dub, then you're not going to move up as much as you want.
For me, it's a difference. If you're playing against a team that's constantly winning and running amok, if you come out and defeat them, even if it's by a fucking field goal, 1 point, you still defeat them. You beat the better team. That brings you up.
Yeah, I mean, my team has a better.
Alrighty.
Go ahead.
This is a bunch of nerd shit that a lot of people won't even care about. But it's very interesting to find out exactly why this works the way it works. I will say this, that I just checked the news recently, and there is a picture of the young lady's face in a text message conveniently to Dalvin Cook. I always find those text messages to be very odd because at the title it says Dalvin the Chef Cook. Like, why was your boyfriend's name like his full name with a nickname in there like that? But anyway, but anyway, there's apparently a picture of her face in there showing that she had that she was beat up or whatever. So we'll see how that goes. With that now being out there, there is a greater chance that something will happen to Dalvin Cook. So we will see how that goes. Yeah. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. But anyway, that is the end of this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us, watching. Like, subscribe as always. And if this is something that you think is pretty cool and something that you would like to have in your fantasy football leagues in the future, please hit us up at the iTest Network at Gmail, or you can hit us up in the comment section of the YouTube page as well. It all works all the same. Anyway, with that being said, thank you for watching. Peace.